DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Live proudly, boldly, and with peace of mind by advocating for your health with an early cancer screening. The LGBTQIA+ community is at higher risk of cancer, but screenings can detect cancer early when it's most treatable, giving you the power to live exactly as you are. Talk to your healthcare provider today. If you don't have insurance, talk to a nurse navigator to see if you qualify for free screenings.
Close but no cigar. A winning Powerball ticket is sold nearby, but the lottery mania continues as the jackpot reaches $1 billion. Plus, changes are coming to the DMV, what drivers can expect that will impact the registration of your vehicle. And an upcoming rally here in the first state is said to be holding lawmakers accountable. We'll tell you about it. Those stories and much more straight ahead tonight on DETV News. Hello and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Topping the news today, President Joe Biden announced that his re-election campaign headquarters will be based right here in Wilmington, opting for the hometown that kick-started his political career over the city of Philadelphia that helped him clinch the 2020 election. With just over 70,000 people, Wilmington is the smallest city to host a presidential campaign in 30 years, if not longer. The campaign will have a physical presence here in downtown Wilmington, with staffers expected to start working out of Delaware as early as next week. 4 years ago, Biden's presidential campaign was based up in Philly, a city that was key in delivering his presidential victory in 2020. Still, Delaware's largest city doesn't carry the same electoral importance as Philadelphia does. In 2024, Pennsylvania is once again seen as a key state to win in order for Biden to remain in the White House. Switching gears now, 2 men are facing felony theft charges after state police said they were discovered dismantling an air conditioning unit at an office building on Concord Pike. Troopers responded to 2 reports of 2 men who were stealing parts early Monday morning. According to state police, 48-year-old Michael Napolitano ran from the scene and was arrested while hiding in a nearby neighborhood. Another man, 60-year-old Ronald Ruthert, was arrested at the scene. Both of these men have been released on unsecured bonds. And a Wilmington man is also behind bars following his arrest in connection with 2 bank robberies we've told you about. Delaware State Police say 57-year-old Brian Adam was taken into custody over the weekend as he was walking down Pulaski Highway in the Bear area. He had previously been identified as a suspect in a June 22nd robbery at Citizens Bank in the Acme Market on Naaman's Road, as well as a holdup at an M&T branch on Concord Pike on July 5th. In both cases, police said the suspect handed a note to the teller and demanded money. Police said Adam is charged with 2 felony counts of theft, and the investigation into these robberies continues. He is being held at Howard R. Young Correctional Institution on $10,000 cash bond. And 1 person was seriously hurt in a crash on I-95 that bottled up rush hour traffic on the interstate for more than an hour this morning. The wreck happened around 5 a.m. on northbound I-95 just before the I-295 northbound split. Paramedics say the crash involved a car as well as an SUV. The driver of the car, a 33-year-old man, was briefly trapped in the wreckage before being freed by firefighters. He was taken to Christiana Hospital in serious condition. The driver of the SUV, which rolled over but landed on its wheels, did not suffer any injuries. And on that note, the medical community, notably emergency medical services and emergency room personnel, are joining together to call to get drivers to slow down on our roadways. Last week, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and state troopers up and down the East Coast rolled out a summer safety program aimed at getting drivers to slow down in the face of increasing highway fatality numbers. Fatality numbers would be even higher than they are if it not were for EMS personnel using cutting-edge technologies to treat trauma victims in the field, like the use of whole blood, which was recently enacted in Newcastle and Sussex counties. According to the most recent National Highway Traffic Safety Administration statistics, speeding-related fatalities increased 8% from 2020 to 2021, with more than 12,000 people killed in speeding-related crashes and more than 325,000 of those suffering injuries. In other news, the Delaware General Assembly's recent legislative session may have wrapped up last month, but advocates say their work is not done. Justice advocates of the American Civil Liberties Union of Delaware will be hosting a rally this Saturday at Legislative Hall in partnership with numerous statewide advocacy groups. The rally, called We Demand the People's Rally, will begin at noon on Saturday and focus on priority issues of police transparency and accountability, closing the education funding gap, and probation reform that focuses on rehabilitation. Other organizations that will be in attendance include the Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Delaware Center for Justice, Delaware Working Families Party, and Network Delaware. The ACLU says another big-ticket item on their agenda is calling for equitable and safe homes for all Delawareans. Speaking of homes, the Delaware State Housing Authority has received almost $3 million in funds from the government for the Recovery Housing Program Action Plan. The housing program's goal is to give stable, temporary housing for up to 2 years for those recovering from addiction. The deadline for applicants for the grant is August 11th. Now, only 501c3 nonprofit developers are eligible, but partnerships with other nonprofits and organizations are encouraged. Eugene Young, director of the Delaware State Housing Authority, says that while addressing substance abuse in the community will take innovative and effective collaborations, they are excited to work with other groups to increase the number of recovery houses available to Delawareans. And the last serving Vietnam veteran in the Senate, Senator Tom Carper, joined the Wilmington VA Medical Center in advertising the benefits that come with filing a claim under what's called the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxins Act, or PACT for short. The act increases eligibility for health care for upwards of 3.5 million veterans of the Vietnam, Gulf War, and post-9/11 eras, and those with toxic exposures. Vets will be eligible for 1 year of backdated compensation if they apply by August 9th, although there's no deadline to apply for PACT benefits. This act helps veterans and their families in the following ways. It adds over 20 more presumptive conditions for burn pits, Agent Orange, and other toxic exposures, adds more presumptive exposure locations for Agent Orange and radiation. It also requires VA to provide a toxic exposure screening to every veteran enrolled in VA healthcare. It also helps the VA to improve research, staff, education, and treatment related to toxic exposures. To learn for more information about this, you can head to the website seen on your screen below. And changes are coming next month to motor vehicle inspection and maintenance at the DMV. Effective August 14th, motorists can expect inspection and maintenance changes that will impact the registration of their vehicles, especially in Sussex County. Here's what happened. Back in January, the Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control revised the motor vehicle inspection and maintenance regulations here in Delaware in an attempt to reduce emissions and improve air quality. The amendments are seen here on your screen. In addition, stricter penalties will be in place for removing or modifying the emission control system in a vehicle in all 3 counties. Currently, there are more than 1 million vehicles registered in the state of Delaware. Residents, especially in Sussex County, are urged to give themselves extra time for registration renewal, particularly if they believe their vehicle will need repair under the new regulations. Motorists can renew their registration up to 90 days prior to its expiration. For more information about the changes, visit dmv.de.org. And the state has added a new animal to its invasive species list. Listen to this, the pot-bellied pig. Owners now have 30 days to submit an application for a permit, otherwise the pigs could be put down. According to a release from the state, since 2016, Delaware has seen a rise in uncontrolled pot-bellied pigs, which are non-native to Delaware and pose risks, such as becoming feral, spreading diseases to people and animals, and causing nuisance to property owners. The state handed down the new mandate earlier this week, and now people have until August 12th to get the permits. The Delaware's Department of Agriculture is also requiring pot-bellied pig owners must report to them within 12 hours if the pig goes missing. The permits are free, and once pig owners apply, state officials will conduct an inspection at their property and examine the welfare of the animals and the threat of contagious or infectious diseases. And the Powerball jackpot rose yet again to an estimated $1 billion after no winning ticket was sold for Monday's drawing. The jackpot was estimated at $900 million. The new jackpot for Wednesday's drawing would be the 7th highest in U.S. history and the 3rd largest for Powerball ticket buyers. And ticket buyers have a chance at $1 billion paid out in yearly increments, or they can opt for the $516.8 million one lump sum before taxes. 3 people won $2 million after matching all 5 numbers plus the power play. The winning tickets were sold in Arkansas, Georgia, and Texas. 5 other people won $1 million after matching all 5 numbers. Those tickets were sold in Connecticut, Florida, Kentucky, New York, and our neighboring Pennsylvania. The game's abysmal odds, unfortunately, is 1 in 292 million, and that's designed to build big prizes that draw more players, of course. The largest Powerball jackpot was just over $2 billion. That was last November. And Delaware superstar Jimmy Allen will return down home to play his first Delaware Concert of the Year at the Bottle and Cork in Dewey Beach on September 29th. While Allen performed a short surprise set earlier this month at Paradise Grill in Long Neck for fans, he has not played any scheduled gigs back home since news in April that 2 women had filed separate lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault. Meanwhile, the Milton native filed countersuits just last week in the state of Tennessee against the women making these charges. Allen filed the counterclaims to, quote, protect my reputation and refute these claims that have caused severe damage to my family, mental health, and business, end quote. Attorney Elizabeth Fagan, who is representing both women, previously brought sex trafficking claims against Harvey Weinstein. Tickets for the Bottle and Cork show are $40 and go on sale at 10 a.m. Friday, July 21st. The concert is for age 21 and older only. Allen is also featured in a celebrity basketball game for charity in early August down the street here at the Chase Fieldhouse. And 5 women have been chosen to be inducted into the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame. The governor's office says that the Office of Women's Advancement and Advocacy and the Delaware Women's Hall of Fame Committee received more than 50 applications, and the committee chose 5 of the top nominees for their contributions to the state of Delaware. Governor Carney announced the 2023 inductees, which include Patricia Daly Lewis, the current Chief Executive Officer of the Beau Biden Foundation; Bonnie Meseros, a champion for economics and personal finance education in Delaware schools. Next up, Paulette Sullivan Moore is Delaware's first African-American female attorney, where much of her career focused on addressing the needs of domestic violence victims and survivors. And Leslie Newman, the former CEO of Children and Families First for more than 10 years. And last but certainly not least, Lynn Snyder Mackler, a celebrated physical therapist and sports medicine researcher. The Hall of Fame of Delaware Women was established back in 1981 and is the oldest annual celebration of its kind commemorating Delaware women. Inductees will be recognized at the 42nd Annual Hall of Fame of Delaware Women induction ceremony. That's October 4th. You can check out their full biographies on the Delaware Department of Human Resources website. And before we go, a tradition that has existed for more than 100 years continues this Thursday when the Delaware State Fair opens down in Harrington. Gates open at noon on Thursday. This year, Nelly, Jackson Dean, Riley Green, Zach Williams, Lanny Wilson, and Tyler Hubbard will be performing at the fair. Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias will perform his comedy, while the I Love the 90s concert will feature Vanilla Ice, Rob Bass, Color Me Bad, and Young MC. Admission is much easier at this year's fair with the addition of what's being called the Fair Pass Card, a digital ticketing app. There is also an unlimited ride wristband available. Special admission days include Pepsi Day on Friday, July 21st, when visitors can present specialty marked coupons to get $2 off one adult gate admission. Other special admission days include Food Lion, Hunger Relief, and Senior Day, Kids Day, where kids 12 and under get in free, as well as an Armed Forces Day, offering free admission to active duty and retired military personnel who present valid military ID. For more information about the fair and for tickets, head to the Delaware State Fair's website. And that's going to do it for today's edition of DETV News. Be sure to like and follow us across your favorite social media platforms. And for news anytime, check out our website. That's detvch.com. With tonight's news, I'm Matt Ford. I'll see you again next time.